Reuters, Carlos Garcia RawlinsOn paper. This was an easy one to call. In reality, it was anything but. When 90 minutes were up on the clock, Brazil still found themselves in a deadlock with the Central American opponents. 6 minutes later, and the two-goal lead that they had managed to accrue made the scoreline look a lot more healthy. But with the eyes of the world watching, the Brazilians will know that they were anything but convincing. Here are 5 things that we learned from the game. Reuters, Lee Smith. As the 90-minute mark ticked past, it didn't look as though Brazil were headed anywhere other than back to the drawing board. But then a floated ball into the box, a header down from Roberto Firmino, a miscontrolled touch from Gabriel Jesus, and Philippe Coutinho found himself with the ball at his feet, a ball that he gleefully prodded home. The old adage claims that the best sign of champions is that they win regardless of the aesthetics. In this case, there was certainly little in the way of beauty, truth and goodness. But it feels as though, in this World Cup where many of the favorites have struggled to make a difference, Brazil are merely adding the names to a litany of big sides who can only drag themselves so far. Reuters, Max Russi. Although the various media outlets had Costa Rica fielding a 3-4-3, the Central Americans rarely ventured forward in anything like so attacking a formation, preferring to sit in a more conservative 5-4-1 with the wingbacks becoming fullbacks and the wide forwards becoming wide midfielders. This proved to be a wise decision, and the Selecao struggled to break through the Costa Rican banks of 5 and 4 who did well to stifle the Brazilian attack. Even with Philippe Coutinho sitting a little deeper, playing in the midfield 3 rather than the forward 3 so as to maximize his creativity, Brazil found it hard to unpick the Costa Rican lock. After drawing with an equally pragmatic Switzerland in their opening game of the first round, Brazil are running the risk of being too easily counteracted by opposition sides. They will hope that they make it through to the knockout stages of the tournament, where they should come up against sides who will approach the game with a greater level of proactivity. If they keep playing like this, though, there is no saying they will get much further. Reuters, Henry Romero. Neymar will be feeling relieved that the bulk of the good narrative has become embroiled in the age-old Messi versus Ronaldo debate during the current World Cup. Time comes for us all in the end, Ronaldo included, and as questions are raised about who will be the natural successor to the two doyens, time is also running old for Neymar. At 26 years old, the Brazilian will be hoping that his longevity is more Ronaldo than Messi. But by this point, both Ronaldo and his counterpart were being spoken of in terms of greatest of all time. For most of this match, the best he could manage was a rather lugubrious dive that fooled the referee but no one else. Unfortunately for him, that included the video assistant referee, when the ball was squared to him by Douglas Costa deep into injury time for the PSG player to slot into an empty net. The relief was palpable. Neymar is a good player. No one doubts it. During matches, he pops and fizzes. However, he has yet to make the same impact as either of the two grandies of football on the European and international stage. Reuters, Max Russi. In recent years, Keylor Navas has developed something of a reputation for being a poor goalkeeper, but in this game, he was anything but. Of course, the expectation was that the diminutive, at least in goalkeeping terms, Costa Rican would be heavily involved in the game. But when it came, Navas was ready. Revered as a hero in his home country, Navas managed to keep a clean sheet for the full 90 minutes. Worse luck for him, the 2 goals came in injury time. He will be disappointed to have failed right at the end, but for both goals, there was little he could do. Reuters, Henry Romero. Despite fielding Renato Augusto alongside Paulinho and Casemiro for the majority of the qualifying campaign, Tite brought Philippe Coutinho into the midfield 3 for the first 2 games of Brazil's group stage fixtures against Iceland and Costa Rica. The logic, it appears, is that Coutinho functions better as a foil to break down teams adopting a low block from a position outside of the box than he can when he plays as part of a front 3, whilst the logic paid off. The former Liverpool